Hello, everybody. Welcome to Radio Dead Air Tech Q&A. You've got questions. We've got guesses. I'm Nash. I've been doing this ridiculous stuff for ages and ages. But in addition to that, I'm also an IT professional. With me, as always, my producer, Mike Gehrman, who also works in IT. If you have any tech questions for me and Mike, you can go ahead and send those to requests at radiodeadair.com, like it says on the screen. Or you can put that in one of the YouTube comments on our YouTube channel, because we have that too. Let me make sure is that working right? Let me see here.
I can't tell from here.
Is everything is that
so you were too far south to feel the excitement, weren't you?
Yeah, that's a way of putting it. The
earthquake.
Yes, earthquake.
Now, unlike a lot of people in California, I'm not going to say stupid shit like, "Oh, I don't get out of bed for anything less than a 5," because y'all aren't used to it out there.
Well, no, because it does not do this over here. But oh, that's why. God damn it! I'll tell you what. YouTube is terrible for streaming. Their interface is so bad. Anyway,
almost like they don't want money.
Yeah, we had a 4.6, 4.7, something like that. 4.8 to 4.0 aftershock.
Up near New Jersey.
Interestingly enough, we also had one that was tech adjacent. Earlier in the week, there was a hurricane. There was earthquake in Taiwan, which caused a couple of the, especially TSMC. There you go. Caused TSMC to shut down for a day or two. So, the largest. It's one of those. That is like the center of computer chip manufacturing in the world.
Yeah,
and it's concerning.
It is indeed.
Because it's not like making cars, Cars get made in factories all over the planet. But like your GeForce RTX and your AMD Ryzen, all that's all done in one location, in one factory, at one company, and that's concerning the hell out. That's why they're making a push to spread into Arizona. That's concerning a lot of people. They're also opening some stuff in Japan, I think, as well. So, all right, but we have some other news stories we're going to get to before we get to your tech and your tech questions. And oh boy,
it's a cavalcade of stupid in the tech world this week.
As quite often.
I'd say 2 stupid and 1 expected.
Now, this isn't quite as bad as when it was first announced. Everyone immediately was like, holy crap, no. Now that we've got some details on it, it's not quite so bad. So the first thing is Discord is going to be adding advertisements.
Yes. And as Nash said, it's not holy crap, no. It's still kind of, no.
Mainly a lot of what happened here was that Discord, their announcement on this, really pissed off a lot of people. Just the very fact they want to put ads in what has sort of become an essential communications platform. Skype is dead. It's effectively dead. That was what many of us used for ages, was Skype.
Yeah. Including for this show.
Yeah. We were still using Skype as recently as 2 years ago? Yeah.
Sounds about right.
So Skype was still one of those essential platforms for a lot of people. Zoom is also one of those, but Zoom has more of a kind of a corporate focus, and it's getting crowded out by Microsoft's Teams, which kind of used to be Skype. It's weird.
And yes, so Teams is basically what you use if you have the budget to use something. And Discord is what you use if you don't have a budget.
Yeah, most people use Discord for either chat or for... Discord is becoming the new... Instead of making a forum, people make a Discord server, which I don't understand quite how that works, because I have tried to go through a Discord server looking for information. There's like, oh, just go to this Fallout 4 modding server. You find what you need. No, you.
Okay.
It's not very good.
It's robust enough for what was it Gary said last week? I got to find when's the last time Gary. Okay, here's Gary. Here's what he said. It's robust enough for that. Unless you are looking for very specific things, like if Mini Cooper set up a forum on there and they had channels for the different parts of your car that could go wrong, and you said, okay, I'm looking for fluids. Here's the fluids channel, which could sound bad if I didn't give it context of Mini Cooper. And then you go, okay, my windshield wiper fluid sensor is bad. How do I replace this myself?
So regardless, that's what everyone is migrated to. I use it for most of my shows now, except on Twitch, where we still actually have a chat function, and I like Twitch's chat function better.
Oh, and you were right. It was about 2 years ago when we stopped using Skype.
Yeah.
And I know that because I just checked Control Panel, and the last time I updated Skype was 2 years ago.
Yeah. So the idea of ads being put on what folks now consider an essential platform for communication is already starting people to bristle. But the form those ads are taking is a little convoluted, and it's a bit dumber than we were expecting. So they're not going to be like flashing ads in the middle of your conversation or anything, or you're not going to be in the middle of a video call with somebody and an ad's going to play on the screen. That's not how it's going to work.
Pardon me a second. I apologize.
No. Gesundheit.
It's one of those days here.
Yeah. What's going to happen is what they want you to do is a sponsored quest. They want you to play a game streaming on Discord for your friends. And if you do that for whoever gets paid them, you get a special in-game reward. Now, I already see a lot of problems with this. Number one, nobody streams to their friends on Discord for any purpose. You know why? You know why we stream to each other on Discord when we play games online? It's so that we can all see the same screen for when it's getting sent over Twitch or YouTube. Nobody broadcasts off Discord. It's stupid. That's not how it works. So I don't exactly know who this is targeted at. It seems a very stupid function, and it seems like it's destined to fail.
Well, we'll see. Part of it's going to depend on what these quote in-game offers are. If it's Fortnite, okay, for example, they use the example of Fortnite, so I'm going to continue with Fortnite. You start playing Fortnite, Discord says, hey, do you want to stream this to your friends? You say yes. Your friends pick up the channel. You get an in-game item. Now, if that in-game item is something that, say, was in the game, it's a skin that was in the game 4 years ago and has since been removed, it's unavailable anymore.
Right.
But now you can go, wait, we can get this? People might do that.
Maybe. But also,
until they run out of those skins to acquire, and then they'll stop.
But also, it's so convoluted and so niche. I don't see how this is. Most companies, most games, the way you do this properly is you go through Twitch. Twitch has, they have, if you're subscribed,
they have a built-in thing where you go, I'm a game company. I want to make a drop available. If someone watches X many hours of my game streams, and you jump through whatever hoops to tie your Twitch account to that game account, and then you watch those streams, and then you get the in-game reward,
and
which
that helps
is
us
a mount or a pet or something.
And that helps us as streamers because it helps us build audience, maybe get some subs, but it get followers and whatnot, because people will tune in. Oh, you're afraid to think, okay, well, now this is interesting. I'll watch. There's no incentive to stream on Discord for me.
At this point, correct.
Like we'll
see what they do.
I get a free in-game thing. Okay, but when I do Twitch, I get money. Can you give me money? I need money.
Well, they don't have money yet, so
I can't eat some in-game reward. Do you have money? I can be exchanged for goods and services. So it's not as bad as what we thought, but it's also not going to be very successful. And if it isn't, that's concerning of what Discord's going to try next. So we'll have to wait and see. Also concerning, Best Buy has let go a large number of Geek Squad agents, as they call them. They can't call them technicians because they don't actually check their certifications.
And most of them don't actually do tech. They check in a computer, it gets sent somewhere, unless it's like a very trivial thing that the guy there knows how to fix.
Yeah, first of all,
it gets sent somewhere, fixed, sent back, and hopefully the agent there has upsold you on several services.
Yeah. Speaking as someone who did work for Best Buy a long time ago, do not take your computer or hardware to Best Buy for repair because they're not incentivized to fix it. There actually is no profit for them to repair your stuff in-house because then they have to pay a proper technician, a full American wage, and they have to have the parts available, which for laptops and phones, they have to order those. So anyway, much easier to take your
unless it's a particularly common item. They don't have them in stock, so it's like, as I said, far better for them to ship it to a centralized location. Yeah. It gets fixed there. And the other thing, by the way, the other reason not to take your computer to Best Buy to get it fixed is they look at your stuff.
Yeah. And for stuff like, oh, well, we're just going to reinstall Windows, what they do is they don't actually do the Windows install themselves. The people who are in the store, what they do is they hook your computer up to a network and somebody remotely reinstalls Windows on your computer because they're not in America and Best Buy can afford to pay them under minimum wage to do that.
Uh-huh.
So you have someone who's being paid less than minimum wage in another country reinstalling your software. Doesn't that feel great? That's a good thing.
You get far better value for the dollar and probably 98% less upselling.
Yeah.
From your local computer technician shop.
A local computer store can actually make a profit on fixing your stuff. And they actually, which the best thing to do to get a repair store for your computer, your electronics, your phone, look them up online, look for local reviews, people who've said good things about them. That's your best way of doing it because large companies at this point are not incentivized to fix your stuff. They are incentivized to either get you to upgrade or replace it outright. And that's where they make their money. They don't make it off technicians. Now, they do have in-home installs, which admittedly, yeah, they do have some people who have technical know-how in doing that, but that's a far cry from actually repairing something. Installation tends to be fairly straightforward. Now, what's going on here is they've laid off a bunch of those folks who are working at Best Buy, and some of these were actually trained technicians who were just working at Best Buy. But what was set off alarm bells is this line from the article from 404 Media, which you should check them out. They're independent tech reporting, which we need more of these days. We were notified via email Tuesday about a, quote, work from home event taking place Wednesday about a company change. Our leadership gave individual calls stating we were being let go for the simple fact the company couldn't afford to pay us.
Which is not a great thing because Best Buy's been cutting staffing pretty dramatically for the last couple of years. So where before you could walk into Best Buy and there'd be 2 or 3 guys in appliances, 3 people in cell phones, and, people in computer, every section. And now you go in there and there's 1 person in appliances and 1 person. Well, there might be 2 people in cell phones.
Yeah. Well,
And
what they used to do for a long time, which drove people out of Best Buy, is there were a store full of people who were selling on commission. So you'd get swarmed every time you came in, maybe just to get like, an HDMI cable, and you get like 20 people would come over to you. Can I help you? Do you need something? And you're just like, I'm just here for a cable, man. And people wouldn't go to Best Buy. So they did balance that out. They stopped doing that. They started paying their people. And Best Buy for a little while there wasn't bad to go into. But now they've started aggressively cutting. They've cut at their physical media, which really stupid to do that in a point where people are starting to have less faith in streaming and digital only. They want physical media again. Well, you can't buy it at Best Buy. But
this is the kind of thing that makes me wish that Fry's were still around.
Oh, I miss Fry's.
Because if Best Buy were to die, that would have driven a lot of people back to Fry's. But with Fry's gone,
like Micro Center is about all we have left, and they are not as widespread or availability wise as Best Buy. Just it is. I
don't think. Yeah, the nearest one is an hour and a half to 2 hours away.
My nearest one is Atlanta. That's like 3 hours away. And they're planning to put one in Charlotte, which is another different 3 hours away in a different direction. So I'm boned where I am. Yeah, this could be bad news, like quietly behind the scenes, bad news for Best Buy. Now, the likelihood is not going to be Best Buy goes away. That's unlikely. What's going to be is they will probably go through a restructuring, possibly a bankruptcy, but not, I don't foresee Best Buy going under because they're not in Toys R Us position yet. They aren't owned by venture capital who is picking the flesh off their bones. They're just, being crap about how they do it. The leadership is being stupid. They think they can nickel and dime this, and the only advantage to Best Buy over buying tech online is somebody there who can walk you through what you need. Not everybody knows how to buy stuff online for tech. They don't know what they're looking for. Best Buy could fill that need, and people would go there and be like, yeah, I could order this online, but I have questions and I need help. That's where Best Buy's strength could be, and it's not what they want to. They're like, no, we can slash this to the bone for shareholders, and it'll be fine, and it won't. So the people who worked at a lot, I've seen on the Reddit for the Geek Squad folks, a lot of them are talking about, why don't we just start our own company locally? Why don't we just make our own repair shop? And that might start happening. We might, there might be some.
Not all of them will have the expertise to do it. Not all of them will have the startup capital to get a lease on a location. But I think a number of them will pull that off.
Yeah, technically, if you're going to do in-home repairs, you don't even need a location. You just have some sense of.
You need a van.
Yeah, van, right? Yeah. So, all right. Last news story this week, and this kind of ties back into one we talked a while back about how Roku was requiring
This is Roku's second dumb thing of year.
I think this dumb thing is related to the other dumb thing. A while back, Roku was changed their terms of service in such a way you couldn't use your Roku device unless you clicked agree. And if you wanted to opt out, you had to to
write them
a paper letter and hope that they accepted it.
And the main reason they did that is because most people, when given an opt-out option for something, and it's electronic, will at least consider it.
Yeah.
Most people these days, when given the option to opt out, but you have to write in, will say, that's too much effort. Now, a significant portion of those will go, that's too much effort. I'm just not going to use my Roku anymore. Others will go, okay, whatever.
Especially if the Roku is built into their TV. And that's where part of this problem comes in. Roku has filed a patent to show ads over anything you plug into your TV. This is going to be, say, for example, you're playing your PlayStation and you're in the middle of Spider-Man and you have to pause to get up to go to the bathroom. What they want to do is they want to hijack the HDMI connection. And over your pause screen on your PlayStation, they want to put ads on the screen.
Yeah.
And they already have a screensaver for Roku that shows ads. And developers have very strict rules. They're not allowed to mess with that because Roku will put ads on their own screensaver on their TVs. This is even more intrusive. And I could honestly see people who were like, well, this isn't what I wanted. This wasn't part of the terms. I'm willing to bet that any arbitration strategy they had springs from this.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I have no reason to disagree at this point.
Femboy Connoisseur, this would probably not be from the Roku app on another box. What this would likely be like, Roku makes a lot of money by building their hardware into television sets and letting it be a built-in set-top box.
Feature.
And in exchange, Roku shows ads over your TV. Now, Roku has made declining profit in hardware for years now. However, they made $1.6 billion in ad sales. That's where their money is right now. The dangerous thing about this is Roku is not the only company that does this. There's Vizio. There's a couple others that they sell.
I'm sure Samsung does it.
Amazon Fire as well. There are a number of low-cost, Hisense is another low-cost TV makers who make their money back by selling ads on the TVs. And we've long said the best way to handle a smart TV is to get your own box, plug that into an HDMI port, and never connect the damn thing to Wi-Fi. Never even let it connect to a network. Let it be completely separate. This is their way of saying, oh, you're just going to use our televisions as dumb monitors. We don't want you to do that. We need your ad money. So we're going to hijack your electronics. Son of a... This is getting to the point where the only...
My expectation here is that it will be poorly implemented and display ads when you're not actually paused.
Oh, yeah.
It will just go,
oh, yeah.
You know what? I think you're paused. I'm going to show you an ad.
It's reaching a point that the only safe television to get is going to be a monitor. We got 32-inch
for me.
We have 32-inch monitors. We have 44-inch monitors. I think there's like even a couple of 50-inch monitors. Now, there aren't like great 70 and 80-inch monitors, but I can honestly see people being like, I don't want to put up with this crap. And people have for years been like, I hate the smart TV stuff. I just want a TV. I don't want all this other crap. No one makes a dumb TV anymore. And it's like we have one in our bedroom. Like it's the Samsung out in the living room was a smart TV, and we disconnected it from the internet. I just use the Xbox for media on there. Our bedroom TV is an old Insignia, and it's a dumb TV. It doesn't have any apps. And again, we run an Xbox through it and let that do all the stuff. I can actually see the Xbox, these old TVs starting to become valuable the same way old cars that don't call home with computers in them are going to become valuable to people.
Yeah,
which just
quite possible.
They are abusing this crap so much we're actually going backwards technologically. People would be like, well, 1080p is fine. This old TV works. Screw this. I mean, I don't get 4K, but I don't have to watch ads every 2 seconds. So that's something to watch. I mean, personally, we had a Roku in our living room over our treadmill. And I had a old monitor set up in there. with a Roku plugged into it. And then the Roku nonsense happened. The you have to opt out. And I'm like, I'm not messing with this. I went on Amazon. I got a like new used Chromecast. And while, yes, it's still Google and Google's not much better, Roku is actively attempting to be worse.
Yes.
That's like,
and by the way, I did look over the article again.
Yeah.
And the diagram for their patent does include multiple modules dedicated to detecting and analyzing on-screen content and inserting ads over top of an existing video stream. So they're probably going to be tossing some AI nonsense in there to go,
oh yeah,
yeah, no, this is absolutely a place we can put an ad, and it will be like on the main show with those commercials you've been showing where they stuck the beer in Star Wars.
Cervezas Cristo. No, imagine when someone tries to watch porn on this thing.
Ooh. I mean, there are commercials that would absolutely ruin that flow.
Oh yeah. Get a Dyson ad on there.
Okay, so here's the question. The logical to my pachinko machine of a brain follow-up. Are the commercials going to be context sensitive? That is, if someone's watching children's shows on via their Roku because they have small children who they'd like to distract for half an hour while they wait for the painkillers to kick in, is it going to show children's ads? I would think that is something that they should do, but they might not.
Yeah, because there's COPA to worry about.
And it similarly makes me wonder, as you said, if someone's watching porn, is it going to insert adult ads, or are you going to be, let's just talk about a hypothetical person named Gary. He's mid-stroke and suddenly an ad for Blue's Clues comes on.
Someone in the channel is like, in the arms of... They get like the sad dog commercials on somebody's dick. Oh, the future is amazing. And by which I mean, this is stupid. They are forcing consumers away from technology. It's you can't. You're making electronics and decisions based on what's good for your company, not what people actually want to buy. That's not going to work out for you. It really doesn't. It hardly ever has.
Yeah. By the way, I did look for there is a perform content recognition, determine appropriate ad in their block diagram for flow. And I'm like,
that's going to work out.
You're going to mess that up.
Oh, they're going to mess it up spectacularly.
They're going to show condom ads during kids shows.
Yeah.
Okay, technically there's an argument for that being appropriate.
All right. Well, that's the news for this week. Let's actually get to your questions now. If you have tech questions for me and Mike, please send them in. You can put them in the YouTube comments when you see this later or live right now. Send them to request@radiodeadair.com. Got a few already. Let's start with one from Alicia. She says, I've got a hard drive that recently has started making a lot of noise to the point I'm very concerned. I've never replaced one myself. I don't know what I need to do. How difficult is it to replace, and can you recommend a good replacement? It's for my desktop, and I think it's 1 gig. So
I think it's not 1 gig. I think it's significantly larger, unless it's a particularly old
that's true.
hard drive. So the good news is hard drive replacement is probably one of the easiest things you can do.
Well,
barring the backup and restore of data.
I was about to say not M.2, but no, M.2 has gotten real easy too. So yeah. But this is
So
not going to be an M.2.
Yeah, it's making noise, so that tells me it's a spinning drive.
Right.
So realistically, what that drive has coming out of the back, first thing I would do is back up your data as soon as you can.
Pictures here.
Because if it's making noise, it doesn't sound like it has long for the world. Okay. That is going to be held in the case, either by 2 to 4 screws or in a drive caddy if you're lucky.
typically most newer ones have a caddy, which is easy.
Yeah.
It clips onto the drive and you can slide it in and out. So it makes it's fairly easy to do.
And then on the back of the drive, you're going to have two connections. One is a power connection, one is a data connection.
Yeah, let me bring this up on screen and show you what these look like so you understand.
Now, the exact type of drive will determine what those connections look like, but it's very simple because all you're going to have to do is power off the computer, open the case, take out the drive, disconnect the power and data, take out the drive, put in the new drive, and reconnect power and data. And you can even take, if you're not terribly clued in, I wouldn't go to, as we said, Best Buy for this necessarily.
Yeah.
But you could even take the old hard drive to a local computer shop and say, I need a drive that has these connectors.
Now,
they will sell you.
The back of your hard drive is going to look like this. The larger connector there, that is the power connector. And the smaller one is the data. There are two cables. One is typically a flat cable for your data line. It's like a little, let's see if I can get a picture of that too. So
now, if it is a spectacularly older drive, they're going to be bigger and chunkier than that.
But I sincerely doubt it's anything but SATA. I sincerely doubt that. If it's older than that, if the connectors on your hard drive don't look like this, take it to a computer shop. That's the best thing I can tell you, because trying to find an IDE drive or adapters or what you need, you're going to need some help with this. But if it just looks like,
but not much.
If it just looks like this, these long flat ones, that's a SATA data connector. The larger one is a power connector. They can only plug in one way because they are keyed. So you can't plug them in there. If you try to plug it in and it won't go, check in. There's a little L-shaped key to the connector. Flip it the other way and try it that way. It should slide on. You'll get a little bit of a forceful click. Not like something like click, but you'll get a little bit of a forceful, you'll feel it.
Yeah. And unlike, say, a Volkswagen microbus distributor cap, it can't go on backwards.
Yes. That's insane, but all right. So once you've identified your drive, you just pull those cables off, slide it out of the caddy or unscrew it if necessary. It depends on how your shop, your
by the way, we did say power off the entire computer when you're doing this.
Yes, please don't do this while it's turned on. That's very dangerous.
And just to interject, this would be a good time while you got the case open to look to see if there's any dust buildup and blast that out of there with some canned air.
Now, you are probably going to want to get the data off your old drive. There are adapters for this, or you could simply just connect your old drive to a different SATA port and a different power connector. Most computers have multiple SATA connectors and power connectors. You can see where it's plugged into the motherboard. If that is concerning, you're like, whoa, I don't know about that. Then there are quite often a SATA to USB
kit. Yeah. I have about 3 of those kicking around various places of work.
They are very inexpensive. As you can see here, you get one for as little as $11. What this will do is this will allow you to plug your hard drive into a USB port, just like a flash drive, and you'll be able to access it that way. That'll allow you to copy the data off. As far as now, you say the drive is 1 gig. I'm going to go from that idea, and maybe it's time to give your computer a little bit of longevity and a little bit of an upgrade and see about putting in a SATA SSD.
Yeah. They're not terribly expensive anymore.
Yeah, they're not super expensive. And they you can most of them come with some sort of they'll come with download instructions for the company's cloning or data transfer software. Samsung has some, Western Digital has some. They'll give you a link in the contain. Just download this and you'll be able to transfer your stuff over and format and whatnot. Might their computer have some sort of M.2 slot? If it's got an M.2 slot, I'd be surprised, because otherwise they wouldn't be talking about the thing making noise. And if they're running their system off a hard drive, I'm going to bet it doesn't have an M.2 slot. That's an older system. They don't let us know, but I'm betting if you have an M.2, it's kind of surprising. But a 1 gigabyte let's see. You want to go get a SATA SSD.
Okay, I'm still assuming they meant 1 terabyte there.
Yeah, 1 terabyte. Yeah, probably 1 terabyte. Sorry, not 1 gig. Probably meant 1 terabyte. Yeah. A 1 terabyte.
You can get one of those for $50.
$50. Yeah. And just, you don't have to. Team Group's a good one. Western Digital has some.
If you insist for whatever reason on Samsung, you're paying about 100% premium on that.
Crucial, Kingston, SanDisk, bunch of decent, good names. You're going to want to look for what's called a SATA SSD. And you're looking for a 1 terabyte SATA SSD drive.
No, if your budget goes to $100, I would go with, say, a KingSpec. Did you mention KingSpec?
I didn't, but yeah, KingSpec's not bad either. They have a
Team
2
Group,
terabyte.
Sorry, Team Group.
Yeah,
Team Group. Then I would, if your budget goes to $100, I would go for a 2 terabyte Team Group.
Get it up
because you're getting a lot more storage.
Yeah, moving from a spinning drive to an SSD will give you a speed upgrade. Moving from 1 terabyte to 2 terabytes, not only you get a speed upgrade, you'll get a storage size upgrade. The advantage of an SSD is they are much faster. Even the SATA versions compared to M.2, which are built right on the motherboard, how they connect right to the motherboard in their own special way. Even going from a spinning drive to a SATA drive, you're going to get a major speed increase. Longevity, you'll probably get about 5 years out of it before it starts wearing, 5 to 10 years before it starts wearing down. It depends on how much data you transfer on and off. I got about 7 or so years out of a 500 gigabyte drive that I got, and it started wearing down to the point where it's like it was concerning. But there's also software that will give you, that comes with the drives, that will tell you how they're doing, how healthy they are. There are no moving parts, so it won't. Unexpected failures of SSDs don't often happen. When an SSD starts going, it's usually slow and gradual. There's no moving parts, so there's no motors or anything else to break in there. Generally, they are better for, overall usage. I'd also recommend at some point trying to get another drive for backup purposes, but that you do you. This is just to get you up and running again. But yeah, a SATA SSD 1 terabyte is probably what you're looking for. How much would be a 1 gigabyte SSD be this day? Oh crap, I don't even know you can buy one that small.
Okay, let me check Newegg for under 120 gigabyte.
Be kind of amazing.
Shark mSATA 60 gigabyte internal solid state SSD disk, $13.
Wow, they make a 60. That's amazing. Probably, you probably put that in like one of those old retro systems in place of a regular drive.
It looks like you almost use this with something like a Pi box.
Yeah. All right, let's next up is Blake. This is a minor issue, but one that happens frequently and randomly enough that I at least want to know why it happens, even if I can't fix it. On my work laptop, I have the volume of my taskbar set to 25%. At seemingly random points during the day, especially if I'm waking the laptop, the volume moved down to 24%. Rarely you'll even bump up to 26%. Near positive this isn't just me bumping the volume up and down accidentally. Why is it doing this, and can it be stopped? Well, you don't tell us what the volume mechanism is, but it might be if is it a mechanical, Blake, if you're in the channel, is it a mechanical mechanism like a slider or or buttons that click or whatnot? Because if it is, that could indicate that the connector itself has got a slider.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of says it right there. If it's a slider, it's a potentiometer. And if it's a potentiometer, it can get a little, those wear down. They get dirty, they wear down, they stop working after a while, and they're not entirely precise.
So let's clarify here, Blake. Physical slider, like a physical device on the laptop itself that you can move up and down.
Ladies in the channel, we'll talk about that. Even if you're not bumping the volume up and down accidentally, slider on the it's on the screen. Oh, so you don't have a physical. There's not a physical volume connector, button on your system.
I didn't think there would be on a laptop these days.
Really?
So
I mean, there's even there's a function volume button at least, right?
Yeah, there is. So in my experience with laptops these days, there's a function volume button, which can sometimes be inadvertently pressed, but not, I would say, with the regularity that Blake is reporting.
The only reason it would move like that without you actively touching it is if there's some software that has decided it's setting its volume when it's, and that software can override your volume slider on your software one.
So in that regard, I have one suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay. So right click the volume icon on the taskbar, open sound settings, click the sound control panel, double click the speaker, and then click the advanced tab. And uncheck allow applications to take exclusive control of this device. This may or may not fix the problem, but it may.
Yeah, because
it's one of those things.
It sounds to me as though something else is decided that it might see 25%, decide, no, I want to be at 24. I don't recognize this. It just might be software glitchiness. But yeah, what it sounds like is there's an application, maybe it's Chrome, maybe it's some other app you have on the laptop that has decided, I want to control the volume. And that's the way Windows will allow for it to happen. So keep that in mind. That's something that can be, what Mike says, follow his instructions, disable the ability of apps to take control of the volume like that. So you have to do it yourself. You might be able to find the suspect. So
yeah, I think this is a relatively minor issue for a clean install of Windows.
Yeah.
If I had several other problems with the system, this might be the last straw that moved me over to a clean install.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be, my volume keeps minorly adjusting. I've got to do something. Wipe the machine and go from scratch. No, that feels a bit overkill. But you do you.
All right. The next one is from Akir Dragonheart. Okay. A bit over a year ago, I bought a new monitor. Wasn't anything fancy. I basically just looked for something most sites agree was middle of the road monitor for a decent price. Landed me on an HP 24MH 23.8 inch IPS display. Okay. Decent enough, except now the screen will occasionally go black for a moment or so. This can happen minutes apart or if particularly bad, it ends up flashing on and off frequently. I can temporarily fix it by unplugging the monitor from the PC and then plugging it back in, except it may or may not come back after the next time I have to put my computer to sleep and restart it. I've done basic troubleshooting I can think of, tried different cables, switch which port the PC it was plugged into, updated drivers, reset the monitor, updated my graphics drivers. I tried a few other things I can't remember and mostly been putting up with, but figured we'll drop you guys a line and see what you think. I'm going to be honest, I actually planned on getting another one before this started so as to replace my current oldest monitor. That thing's over 20 years old. Bought a thrift shop for $20. I need a converter for a while back because graphics cards don't come with VGA ports anymore. However, compared to 20-year lifespan, a little over a year for HP problems cropped up doesn't exactly fill me at hope. Do you have any ideas on what is up? Was I just unlucky? Well, first of all,
I feel like you were unlucky.
Yeah. There is an option that we can verify what's going on here. And if you haven't had it that long, maybe you're still under warranty. It's not a super expensive monitor we're talking about here. It's a 149 monitor HP. You do have another port on the monitor. You have a display port. Now, you might have to get an adapter for this, or you might just use a DisplayPort cable. But If it were me, the first thing I would try in troubleshooting this, aside from changing which port you plugged into on the PC, is switching from HDMI to DisplayPort, or from DisplayPort to HDMI, whichever one you're using right now. The reason for that is there may be something physically wrong with that port. There might be something wrong in just how it's connected. Something's gone bad with it. It might be dirty. It might be a pin broke. The way, or probably not broken, but probably loose or shorted somewhere. That's why trying a different connector and a different port will give you some insight onto if the monitor is still working otherwise.
Yeah. Now, another thing I would check just to be on the safe side, because I've seen this happen a couple times. Make sure that power plug is firmly plugged in. There's a lot of times it can be mostly plugged in, and you're thinking, well, I have video most of the time. Why is this happening? And there'll be enough thermal expansion and contraction going on that you lose connectivity at some point.
Well, I was about to say try and check your power brick, but this is one of those monitors that doesn't have a power brick. It has a direct power connection, which I've come to like those less and less. These Femboy Connoisseur, he's already tried a different cable. That was in the description. I've started to like the ones where you just plug a regular computer power cable straight into the monitor, because by including the power brick as part of the monitor, the power supply is more likely to go bad.
This is true.
If it's not part of the monitor, it's much easier to replace. If it's one of the, like a power brick, like for your laptop, rather than building it to the back. Because if it's just like your laptop, you can just swap that out and your computer's going to be just fine going forward.
Yeah.
The
thing is, a lot of monitor manufacturers don't do the separate power brick model anymore.
Yeah.
They've gone to, no, we're just using the standard. There are some
it's cheaper.
Well, there are some who do it because it's cheaper, but in my opinion, there are many more who do it because of what Nash just said.
Yeah, typically,
if that power brick goes bad, you've got to buy a new monitor.
But smaller monitors these days, they don't need a separate. The power supplies have changed to the point they've made components smaller. They can do more power with less space, so they don't need a separate power brick. It's actually cheaper to just build that onto one board. And if that goes bad, well,
yeah. I mean, we've got I want to say a couple LG monitors at work, which have their own special power connection.
Yeah.
Doesn't use the standardized three pin cable, and the power supply for that is minuscule. I mean, it's the kind of thing you would plug into a power strip and not even notice it. You go, is that my phone charger? No, that's my monitor.
Yeah, I've seen those too. I mean, I've got barrel connectors for mine, and I kind of like it that way, honestly, because if something goes wrong with it, I just pop that out for better. Unfortunately, aside from trying a different port on the monitor, if that solves it, there's your answer. That does need to be repaired, and you probably need to contact HP about warranty support and whatnot to see if it's still covered. If it's within a year, how long have you had it so far? You said within a year?
Said a year.
A year. Well, if it's been that long, it might be out of warranty. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it had more than a year warranty. I'd be surprised sometimes if it has more than a 3-month warranty, honestly.
At this price point, you could, I guess, take it somewhere and ask them to fix it, but it probably wouldn't be worth it. It'd probably cost you more to repair it than it would to replace it. These are at the lower end, 24-inch monitors. They're fairly disposable. They're considered, because the price points drop so much, and they're not really major, monitors.
To give you an idea, at work a few years ago, a 24-inch flat panel would people be going like, "Oh, we can get those now." Now it's like, what am I going to do with all these spare 24-inch flat panels?
I have right now a 15-inch monitor right here that has chat and everything on it. It's USB powered. It's got kind of be USB-C for video or HDMI. It's got a micro connector. That was $60.
Yeah.
And
so yeah. The other thing Mr. Dragonheart asks is, what would we suggest a monitor? And I'd say go to Newegg, look in your budget range, and I'd go with at least a 2K monitor at this point, maybe a 4K, depending on what your budget support.
HP is not a name I would go to.
Yeah, Asus or Acer is a good name for monitors right now. They both have 27 inches that are 27-inch monitors that are under $180.
Gigabyte has been surprisingly doing very well with monitors for a while. Let's see. Yeah, Gigabyte, Asus, Acer, LG had some pretty good monitors lately. That's true. Surprisingly enough, Dell has been making some decent ones. Samsung are also good, but they're a little bit pricier. But this, in fact, I would say at $150, this is actually a little overpriced for what it is. But it's, again, in the past year, monitors have dropped.
I'd say you're paying at that point for the HP logo.
Yeah, and HP, they don't really make their own monitors. They sort of someone else makes them for them. They're not a monitor company. Kind of like Dell is the same way, but Dell's OEM manufacturer is really good, surprisingly enough. AOC, that's another name I've heard. Otaku Boy, yeah, that's true. That's another one. So see what you can do with this one, but and apparently problems with stuff like this, fixing them is difficult because it can cost more to fix it than it can to replace it. The prices on monitors one of the reasons prices on monitors have gone down so much is manufacturers are kind of clearing stock a little bit. This is going to be the year of OLED. A lot more cheaper OLED panels are becoming available. IPS panels, which in my opinion are still very good. They don't have the fidelity of OLED with the deeper blacks and the ability to shut off pixels entirely, but IPS monitors are still very worthwhile. And, they still exist, and there are deals that are going to be had for those. So that's probably a better look for Newegg. People keep mentioning Newegg. Newegg is a great place to go if you're looking for their search function is so much better than Amazon.
Oh, because Amazon's search function is practically non-existent.
Yeah, it's not.
So even if you don't buy from Newegg, I would suggest going there to do your research and do your comparisons, because they will absolutely show you all the data you need, plus probably more.
Yeah, the advanced search on Newegg allows you to get so granular, the exact details you want for your device. And Amazon's the exact opposite. Newegg wants you tends to lean toward getting you to buy what you want. Amazon wants you to buy what they want. It's so a really nasty thing to do is to go to Newegg, find what you want, and then buy it from Amazon. But Newegg's also, they're not so bad either. So
I buy from Newegg when I can, because I like the company.
But the first thing to do,
I wish they paid us.
Yeah. The first thing you should do is switch from HDMI to DisplayPort or DisplayPort to HDMI and see if it's the port causing it. And if it is, well, something's broken, but the monitor will still work just fine on the other port, pretty sure. But if that doesn't solve it, then that's about the extent of what you can do with that monitor. It's that, unfortunately, they aren't really made to be fixed, which sucks. But all right, let's see who's next on the list. We have a list here. This is from Diego.
Very briefly. The only thing I don't like about Newegg's comparisons is that they keep toggling back on recommendations to say, when I want to compare two things, I don't want the other things you want to recommend. I was looking at these two things. Yeah.
All right, this is Diego. Hello, Nash, Mike, and Sorted Pets. So my dad brought home a 5.2 stereo receiver DVD player. That's surround, actually. 5. DVD player combo that he allegedly got as a gift. I was wondering if there's a way to properly connect it to my modern TV and still take advantage of the 5.2 features, mainly the center channel and the sub. The receiver is a Pioneer XV DV8, as well as AC, RCA, and coax inputs, while my Sony Bravia TV only has an optical port and a 3.5 aux for outputs. Well, your TV, keep in mind, HDMI is also an audio output port, but let me look at this thing. Ooh, boy. Let's bring this over here. We got a picture of the back of it.
This is so not my area.
Well,
but
this one
I would imagine there has to be converter boxes somewhere.
This one is kind of an antique, I'd have to say, just looking at the connectors here. All right, those connectors for the speakers, those are still pretty standard. You only have component video out, S video out. Is there an HDMI on this? Let me look at this. Let me look at this dang thing. Holy crap. I didn't get a chance to really look at this before.
Okay, so I'm looking. There are such things as optical to RCA converters.
Yeah.
I've literally never used one. But you could.
Yeah, this has TV in and out for RCA connectors, or yeah. Oof. This thing is well, I don't think you're going to get much. HDMI was not yet a thing when this was made. No, it was not. I don't think you're going to get much out of this device without some weirdo adapters on it, because it's just a little bit too old. Let me see if we got is there a copyright on this dang thing, or I don't see copyright 1996 2003. That tells me everything right there. I'd be willing to pretty much call this this sucker dang near obsolete.
You see that copyright because I see the unit itself has a manufactured February 2006.
Yeah.
So
okay, so it's 2006. Yeah.
Their copyright ran out before their manual did?
Registered trademarks of Digital Theater Systems Incorporated, copyright 1996, 2003, Digital Theater Systems Incorporated, all rights reserved. Yeah, it's one of those little itty bitty tiny text on there. But yeah, February 2006. Diego, unfortunately, this 2006 was before the digital the digital switchover. Where we went, it's old enough to list in the military. It kind of is. It's 18 years old at this point. When we went from analog to digital, a lot of these things became unfortunately obsolete. Most connectors are HDMI now. There probably be little to no way you could get this to work as a proper receiver for a modern television. If you have an older television, you're probably going to be okay-ish. It's going to be a little weird. Let me see what you said your television had. Optical, modern HD TV. Yeah, it's got optical and a 3.5 millimeter aux for output. Modern TV, aside from the optical port, you also have the HDMI connection itself. That's where modern receivers for televisions use something called ARC, which is a subset of HDMI. It's a protocol that allows data to transfer both ways, and you plug your television into the receiver, and the television sends the audio data to the receiver, and that way it can output. And most receivers have multiple HDMI ports to plug different devices into. What I'm saying here is the technology has changed so much that you could maybe cobble together an adapter. You could get component to optical. There might be one like that.
There are optical components. I'm looking at some right now.
Yeah.
Most of them are in languages I don't read.
Yeah, if you want to try that, that might work, but it's just so old at this point. Everything has lapped this by 20 years. It could function, but it's probably still perfectly functional, but it's just nothing's really compatible with it anymore. Yeah, because the inputs on this thing,
I will say, if you give it a try, let us know the results just out of curiosity. Just because.
Now, trying to get 5. How do you even get the antenna loop FM in? I'm trying to see where the I'm trying to even see how they get the input, because those are all of these on the left hand side are all video outs. That's an S video out component out. I don't even know where. I don't see a there's the that's how you do it. There's a coax. That's how you get data into it.
What's that line 2 drop right below the coax audio in?
I do not know. I have no idea. Well, it's that's coaxial in. What you do is you plug in your cable into the coax. So you plug your cable box into this, and then the video comes out of the component or the S video. That's how you get the signal in. That's how you get the signal out. So yeah. This is.
I do like the feature that it has multiple voltage selectors on the far right.
Well, okay, now, all right. Well, hold on. That's actually okay. It will work for 5.1 surround or 5.2 surround. It will work just fine, because it will get a signal, because it's got the coax in. It'll get a signal from your cable. So it'll work. You're just going to need to have you're going to plug your cable into that coax input on the back, okay? Where it says coaxial in. You plug your cable in there. You're going to need a component out to HDMI or S video out to HDMI, because this is going to output the TV signal. This is where you're going to plug your TV into from now on. It'll work, but you are going to be limited. And I'm not sure it can even do 1080p from S video out. Let me see what S video out's limits are.
Well, aren't they going to run into that HDCP thing as well, where
they'd have to get
recognize?
They'd have to get HDMI to S video converter to do it. S video out to HDMI. What is the? Yeah, they make those S video out to HDMI. They make those just fine. Let's see here. What's the limit? Resolution. Yeah, max resolution on S video is 1024 by 768. So 480p. So you can get a picture out of this, but it's not going to be HD. That's so yeah. It's gonna suck. Like, yeah, this would be for old gaming consoles. Oh, this would be perfect for an old gaming console, but for a TV set, yeah, your resolution is considerably limited. It's not even HD anymore. So I wish I had better news for you, but it's just too old. It's just so old. That's the tech is just, it's antique. All right, let's see. You got one more question came in from the YouTube comments.
Okay.
It's from Jason Jimerson. I have a very simple question, guys. What is your best recommendation in buying a new printer in your options? The best brand, best value? I'd love to know. Thank you. All right.
Okay, so you don't tell us your use case, which applies for a lot of printers, because if you're primarily just doing documents, it's one kind of printer. If you're primarily doing photo printing, it's a very different kind of printer.
I would say overall, now this is, it's a larger upfront cost, and I always recommend this, but inkjets are terrible values, period. They are
100% true.
Inkjet printers below a certain price point are fragile. disposable. They are just there to deliver, to act as delivery mechanisms for ink cartridges, which is where companies like HP and Lexmark and all the rest, that's where they make most of their money, is on the ink cartridge. I mean, it's no secret.
And ink cartridges dry out amazingly fast if you're not using the printer on a regular basis.
Now, if you want a better quality of printer, inkjet printer, well, you have to go up in price range. But if you're going to go up in price range, you should be looking at laser.
Yep.
The reason why I will tell you right now, we have a laser printer that is now about 5 years old. It even broke one time. I physically repaired it. No problem. It was tedious, but I did it. It's not hard to do. Color laser is, let me see what I'm just gonna look up what I got and what the modern equivalent is. Let's see here. It's on my orders list. Let's see, Canon. Let's see. Let's see how far back.
While Nash is looking that up, I'm going to say a couple things. One of the things you should avoid when buying a printer is the printer ink or toner subscription that the vendor will try to sell you.
Okay, yeah, they don't make this.
It is often not worth it, and often when you sign up for it, you've got to have your print these days. You've got to have your printer always on the network, always online, so they can say, "Oh, your supplies are getting low. We're going to send you new ones," and you can't use third-party toner.
This isn't the one I have because the one I have they don't make anymore. We got it in 2018, so it's 6 years old now. HP. No, I don't want the HP. I want a Canon. Give me a Canon alternative. You have a Canon alternative? Yeah, that's $600 now. Hold on. I will look up a alternative for a Canon printer. Basically, I got an image class color printer. It was like about $300 back in 2018. We haven't had to replace it. The ink is not dried out. We are still using the cartridges it came with in the box. We haven't needed to replace those. The inkjets, they have longevity. They can be fixed. And they
you mean laser jets?
Laser jets, yeah. Sorry. Laser jets have longevity. They can be fixed. The toner is on pound for pound, both cheaper and it lasts. Nothing's going to dry out. Nothing's going to kill I have seen inks kill a printer because they dried out and they took the head with it.
That happened with this one.
Yeah. So the hardware dies along with those inks. I like Canon for the inkjet printers. Brother is also not inkjet for a laser. Canon is good. I like Brother as well. Brother's a long mainstay one. Let's see.
For home printer use, I would avoid Lexmark.
Yeah.
What's the other one we tell the people to avoid printer wise?
HP.
Because HP, remember a moment ago when I mentioned they want you to sign up for a toner subscription service? Yeah. That's HP's big thing these days with their printers. Their home printers. They don't do that as much with bigger businesses. They might do with small businesses.
Holy crap. This is what I would call a freaking steal, right? I know I'm on Amazon, I know, but the prices have come down on these so much. Now, admittedly, this doesn't have a scanner on it or anything like that. So if you need one of those options, you might look something, although there was one with a scanner right here that wasn't that much more expensive. Yeah, that was the one with the scanner and the copier and stuff was $300. The one without it for a color laser, $200 for a color laser jet. $200 for Canon.
Which one is that?
That is a Canon color image class LB P632 CDW. 22 page per minute. Yeah, that's very similar to the model we have. It's a newer version of the one we have.
Now, I will say the one thing you're going to see out of these things is they're not all, the home ones are not going to be very high speed printing. When I say not high speed printing, 22 pages per minute is considered good for this kind of thing. Now, that said, your home print, unless you're running a small business, and if you're running a small business, you should be going for a better printer anyway.
Yeah.
You're probably not printing all that much.
But generally, I like the color quality of laser is really good. The image quality of laser is really good. I found that laser tends to be. Have you ever tried to inkjet print something and it's very heavy on graphics? So the paper gets a lot of ink in it and it gets all wrinkly and crap.
And it gets saturated. Yep.
This doesn't do that. Laser doesn't do that. If you print something on regular paper with laser, it won't get it'll look really good just on plain old regular office type paper. So if you can find a used, I saw an HP laser printer, black and white for $10 at Goodwill. If it still works, go with it. But yeah, $200 for one of these.
Take a laptop down there, see if they'll let. Oh, that'd be tricky. See if they'll let you hook it up and see if it'll print. Now, it may not have any ink or toner, in which case, you might be at $20, but
just in general, I've had a pretty good experience with ours. It's been reliable. Whenever I needed to print something, we don't need to print a lot, but when we need it, it's been there and it's worked. So yeah, Canon or Brother is what I would recommend. $200. Heck, that's probably on like the higher end of a laser, of an inkjet. Except this one's going to last you for years. Like I said, ours is like from 2018. It still works just fine. If you get a laser jet printer, you're probably going to keep it for a decade.
Yeah. Now, I will say the one disadvantage to laser over toner, or laser over inkjet.
Mm-hmm.
If you drop your inkjet cartridges, at worst, you've got a small mess to clean up. If you drop a LaserJet toner, you've got a big mess to clean up, potentially. I mean, you could get lucky and didn't spill anything. And you might need the special vacuum cleaner for it with the super micron filter on it. So you're not just sucking toner in one end of the vacuum cleaner and spraying it all over the place.
So yeah, but otherwise, yeah, that's what I would recommend, Jason. That's the best option, because inkjet is a sucker's bet. It's terrible. Like I said, you might pay a little bit more up front, but the longevity is so fucking worth it. I mean, it's the dang printer's paid for itself. We haven't had to touch it for years. Every time I need it, it's there. It works. All right, so that's going to do it for us for this week. Thank you for all your questions. By the way, we love getting them. It helps us make this possible for you. We'll be back next Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you have tech questions for me and Mike, you can send those to requests@radiodeadair.com. We'll do our best to put those on for you. Otherwise, until then, we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.